I believe that different strengths create a stronger brand. I think when people that have specialized skill sets and different experiences come together, they can create a stronger and more dynamic brand. So I really want to talk about your perspective and organically creative.
It's all about me.
Yeah,
always.
It's all about you.
Always.
I want to talk about like what your brand represents and how you approach, your creative process.
So Organically Creative is the latest rebrand I did, because I have rebranded throughout the years. It was called Zen Studio at one point. It was called Juliet Afamar Studio at one point. Like, it has changed throughout the years because I evolve. So my companies evolve with me. And because I see different opportunities, I'm like, okay, that brand is not really attracting the things that I want to attract, so I rebrand. Organically Creative, it has its name. I came up with that name actually a while ago, and I did create a brand. I think it was in 2017, and then I kind of disregarded. I'm like, I'm not doing that right now. But then it became like last year when I was trying to figure out what direction I wanted to take with my branding agency, because I wanted to grow it again and, make it reflourish again as one was in the glory days. I decided I was like, that's a perfect name. And the reason why I called it Organically Creative too, because I am organically creative. Like, I was born this way, right? I'm creative. We all are.
Right.
And I feel like humans are creative by default. Like, we are all creatives. Even whatever that means, it doesn't have to mean that you're an artist. It doesn't mean that you're a weirdo. We all have the spark of wanting to create something.
Right.
Like, we said something like, what? We create life. Even if we don't create nothing, we still create life.
Right.
You want a garden. That's creative. Like, all the things that we are making, it's being creative. So, in business and in life in general, being creative is like the reason why you do the things you do, because you get a problem. And the only way that you can find a solution is by being creative.
Right.
There is no, this is going to solve this. Like, you have to figure it out.
Right.
Figuring it out, it's being creative. It's like, oh man, what do I do with this? Oh, what if
Yep.
the light bulb moment, like, what if I do that? And then the process of doing trial and error, it's the process of being creative. So when you do something like, oh, well, that's not going to work, that's okay. Like, oh, so what if I do this then instead, which is what I do with my paintings, what I do with the graphic. If I'm creating a brand for somebody, the one thing that I deliver, it's not the only thing I made.
Right. There's a process.
Right. And I'm like, oh, let's do this circle. Okay. No. And what if I add this? And what if I add that? The what if will take you so long, so many places.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how I live my life. What if we do this? What would that? What would that do? So in business, when you have a problem, like let's say you don't have any money. So what if I open a Kickstarter campaign? What if I do sponsorships of any kind?
Right.
What if I don't know, like if I have a show, what if I have sponsors before that they pay me for sponsorship? The whole show will be pre-sold before I even have an opening reception.
Right.
So those are creative solutions to your business problems. So being creative, it's a way of living, even if you create things like I create for brands or not. And if you're not being creative in your business, one thing that somebody told me and it stuck so much with me is like, if you're not growing, you're dying. So if you're not doing things to innovate what you're already offering, although it's doing great, what are you doing for your growth? So if you're not growing and being creative and being innovative in the things that you're offering, it's not going to last you too long. Or you might just stay in that plateau, which it's not going to help you grow.
Right.
So being creative is the essence of being in business. If not, just don't work for somebody else.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And I think that's kind of like where I came from with, it's just like I was always a creative, but then I also had this business analytical mind.
Right.
And I feel like I was always rooted in my creativity through poetry. Also, I worked with my dad's nonprofit. My dad is an evangelist, so he used to travel all over the world preaching, and I did all his flyers, I did all his marketing campaigns. And I didn't realize that's what I was doing then. Right? I just thought I was like, oh,
you're just helping out your dad.
I'm just helping my dad, When he had radio shows, I was the one inquiring. I was the one calling. It was interesting now looking back at it, just the origin.
Right.
It was always there, but it was
Right.
like the business side too. Until this day, my dad is still preaching all over the world. However, I'm not doing his marketing anymore.
That I gotten expensive.
But I used to do his letterheads, his flyers,
Right.
his slideshows, whatever that he had to
All
get
the
done.
things, yeah.
I was doing it. But then I always knew that I wanted to be in business. So when I
Right.
went to school, dual majored in accounting and information systems, and fast forward, spent a lot of time traveling, doing audits, going on client sites.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I don't really have the creative capacity
Right.
that I once had. Like there was no real way for me to implement my creativity.
Right.
And I think post-pandemic, I saw opportunities to do that.
The pandemic changed all of us.
It changed all of us, but I think what it really changed, and I think this is something that we always have to ask ourselves, is what am I really truly rooted in?
Right.
Whether it's spiritually, emotionally, and how does that integrate with my purpose? Because you said something. You said if you're not creating, you're dying. And I think of ourselves as a plant. We're planted on earth
Yeah.
to bear fruit. What are you rooted in that's bearing fruit? And I realized that as an IT auditor that was in a plane, I was in my apartment maybe 11 days out of the month.
I couldn't do that.
I was living out of a suitcase. And when I started like really examining myself and my life and where I wanted to go, I was like, that's not what I want to be rooted in.
Right.
I want to create. I want to solve problems. I want to help people. And although I was doing it in my corporate profession, it wasn't bearing the fruit that I really wanted to see.
Right.
And I think when I said, hey, where's a way I can implement my creativity and business?
Right.
And I think a lot of creatives, where they suffer is combining those two.
Yeah.
And I think you can speak to that because you've been in business for over 25 years. You've been doing this the entire life, and not everyone is able to manage both, to like do well enough to where they can run their business and still thrive in their creativity.
Right.
Because it takes two different types of mindsets, right?
Well, and I've had moments where I'm like, I don't want to do anything. Like I've had moments, like I told you, like those days that I wake up not in the best, and sometimes I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go home and go to bed, and that's okay. Learning how to give myself the moments of being human, and in order for me to create, I have to not create. So there's days during the week that I'm like, I'm not gonna make anything today. I'm just gonna rest.
So you have, like,
and
cadence.
yeah, I will go to the woods and walk or do something completely different that has nothing to do with creativity or art or anything of making something. So I have to give space to just do nothing, which I'm not alone because I'm always talking to other creatives and I listen to a lot of, artist podcasts too. And it's a very common practice of like, there's days that you just do nothing or you do nothing that has to do with being creative. Not all the time, but so that will balance out a little bit of eventually getting to the point of being burned out and not wanting to do anything at all to
Right.
begin with.
Right.
So when I'm really tired, like today I woke up a little tired because I don't know what happened last night. Just kidding. It was way past my bedtime. Okay. That I know.
Okay.
And so, like, if I'm tired today, I'm like, I'm not going to paint probably today because I'm tired. So to me, it's more important I'm going to sleep. I'm going to probably, when I finish here later on today, I will go home and be just in my bed watching a movie with my cat and just really rest my body and my mind. Another way of resting my mind will be going to the woods or doing something that I haven't done. Even when I go to Charlotte, when I go, that I go once a week or so, when I go down there, to me, it's something different that I'm doing.
Right. It's a change of pace.
Yeah, it's something different. I'm going to another city for the day talking to people. I'm not in the computer at all day. I'm not barely on my phone all day. So I'm very talking to people a lot and seeing new places that I haven't seen. So all that makes, sparks things eventually the next day, maybe. I'm always taking notes of something like, oh, what? That's an idea. So they normally come when I can write it down. So I try to do the voice note thing.
Right.
Because they will come to me when I'm driving. I'm like, seriously? Now it's when you choose to
Those
come to my
$1 million
head.
ideas that just...
Yeah,
What was
so, but I try to capture them and then come back to them later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you need those times of, let's do nothing for a minute. Let's relax our nervous system.
Yeah.
You don't have to be on all the time.
Yeah.
And then that way I can consistently create.
Yeah, I think I always like to think we were made in the image of God. I think Myron Golden said this. We were made in the image of God, so we are actually designed to create because He is the most creative. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, He created.
Yeah.
But then He took a day to rest.
Yep.
And I think that's so important because I was in a space where I wasn't resting.
Right.
I was working so much that I realized I was like, resting almost felt like,
No.
I was like, why am I resting?
Yeah.
I got things to do. And that's a very unhealthy thought pattern because I realized in my rest is where I was able to restore my mind, I was able to rejuvenate my creativity as opposed to trying to grind my way through life.
So if you think about it, your body, when you're sleeping, it's when it heals.
Right.
And when it regenerates.
So when you're in a restorative state.
Yeah, so if you're not resting, so if you feel tired even though you slept, that means you're burnt out. And that means you need to stop.
Yeah.
And that means you need to, not go on vacation because that's more work. No. It's really, literally do nothing. When I do the one day that I just do nothing, the next day I'm a different person. So I know, and I notice when I get cranky, I start freaking out about everything. So my body goes into fear when I'm tired. Oh my God, I'm not doing good. This is not, oh my God, how do I fix this? That's where my body goes and my mind goes. And then I know I just need, when the baby's cranky and needs a nap.
Yep.
Just like that.
Oh,
so
man.
I'm I need a day off. When was the last time I had a day off? I'm I don't know.
Yeah, which is why I make it, before I wasn't doing this, but now it's really important for me to shut things off.
Mm-hmm. You gotta.
So my Saturdays are essentially like my Sabbath, my day of rest, my day of I'm not doing.
Except for yesterday.
Well, yesterday was still
it was fun though.
Yeah, it was not.
Fun.
It wasn't necessarily work. I mean, I'm getting in my workflows. I'm getting into my tasks.
That was fun work.
Yeah, and that was more so. It looks very different, and even with client calls, meetings, and all that, won't schedule anything on those days
it's different,
because we have to be very intentional, especially when we are not only carrying our vision, but we're carrying the vision of other people.
Yeah,
we have to be mindful of where we're at.
Yeah.
Physically, spiritually, mentally, most important. And I think
agree.
as creatives, we'll see a lot of mental health issues. We'll see a lot of
so many.
like you just said, being burnt out.
Yeah.
Because we're absorbing so many ideas, so many emotions, so many different channels of energy that if we're not careful and intentional about our rest and our resets and our schedules, then we will essentially resent our own creativity.
Yeah, and too, as a creative, I had to put boundaries on my clients and what I was willing to do because of that too. Because I understood that my rest is important and my time of not doing is important. I just won't answer an email until a day later, mainly if it's over the weekend. Or I had a client once that, of course, no longer my client, but for some reason, she will text me on my phone on a Saturday night, 10 p.m. kind of thing, which again, it's way past my bedtime. But still, even if I was awake, I'm why are you texting me on a Saturday at 10? Text me, not even an email, a phone text. I'm why are you texting me at 10 p.m. on a Saturday? I
think, to your point, it's the boundaries, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about the type of clients and the ideal clients we want to work with. And number one thing for us is respect.
Yeah.
However,
100%
we have to set that standard from the beginning.
Yeah.
I think when I first started the Art Collective, I didn't really have those boundaries because I think based on, some of the things we've shared with one another is like, we really want to help people.
Yeah.
And because we help people, we become, it becomes it becomes very personal very quickly. And because it becomes so personal, sometimes those people feel very comfortable with us.
Yeah.
And if you're not very clear on setting the boundaries in the beginning, it becomes very invasive towards the end, because now they're just like, oh, I'm in the house, I'm walking around with my shoes, I got, you know what I mean? I got my feet up on the coffee table. They're opening up.
Somebody here do that, by the way, in my studio.
And they're like opening up your fridge. You're like, hey, hold up, man. How'd you get in? Like, oh, I have the key.
I have the key. You gave me the key.
Yeah, I made a copy.
It's cool.
I figured that you wouldn't mind. And, one day you're just going to wake up and they're going to be in your bed. And you're like,
no.
Hey, what's going on?
No, there's definitely boundaries that need to have.
Yeah, and I think, as a business-minded creatives, I think we have to always think like, we got to create, but we have to create the boundaries so that way we can create and function.
Yeah.
And then clients can understand to respect our process and respect our work.
Yeah.
Especially if they want us to deliver results. I get it. I think it's very easy when someone feels like you're isolated.
Yeah.
They can just, I'll just text her at 10 p.m.
Yeah, it's fine. She's not doing anything.
Right, because then they see you as just an isolated person. And this is why we've talked about using our skill sets and our strengths to create a vessel.
Yeah.
That vessel is around specialized strengths, expertise, and strategic, collaboration. Yeah. Because that's what creates something that is not only respected and admired, but it's something that can really drive change.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the marketplace.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's all part of it. But I think that it's what I bring to the table is the out of the box solutions that people can, that I thought that everybody thought that way and they don't. That's kind of all part of how helpful when somebody has a problem or needs my help, or let's figure that out. And again, I have conversations. I don't know everything, but I have a very unique perspective when they come to me with the problem. I'm like, maybe we can do this. And what if we try that and see what happens?
Yeah, and I think that's the most important thing, is being able to acknowledge that I'm not an expert in everything. Like, for example, I understand branding. Yeah. I understand the importance of branding. Yeah. But I'm not the expert in branding. Right. So I have the vision of the Art Collective was to bring a group of professionals, a group of experts and creatives in their respective domains. Right? Because I know a lot of us, especially when we're in silos, we have to become the videographer, the photographer, the creative director, the producer.
Mainly if there's no resources to pay everybody.
Right. But when we come together in a vessel, I seen the ark, and the name of the ark came from it's kind of like a biblical story that we all know and familiar with, but it was more so of the concept, because there is a flood. We are in the midst of a flood. Yeah. There's a flood of information, a flood of resources, a flood of access. Yeah. But there needs to be a vessel that is now built to navigate that flood. Because a lot of people have access to information, but don't really know how to apply them. Nope. There's a lot of people that have access to tools and resources and devices and gadgets, but they're not applied in a way that can really produce for them. Absolutely. So the Art Collective was the concept of the Art Collective is building a vessel that has professionals like myself, like you, and other videographers, photographers, creative directors, developers come together for one common purpose. Yeah. And it's to navigate ourselves to this new era that we're in. Yeah. We live in a time of epochs. Right? There was the revolutionary era, there was the industrial era, but now we're in the information era. Yeah. And information and the access to it can be futile if you don't know how to apply it.
If you don't know, or be overwhelmed or not know what to do with it. Like the deer in the headlights. I'm like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. And then they do nothing. Right. Which it doesn't really help.
No, it does not.
So, yeah.
So our job is to essentially navigate our way through this new epoch,
Right.
this new era. And I see our partnership being a perfect example of that. Combining our strengths,
Yeah.
combining and leveraging each other's knowledge and acumen and
Right.
skill sets to provide solutions
Yeah.
to businesses, to nonprofits, to organizations, to personal brands, and people that are ready to go. Not
Yeah.
people that are actually on the fence, but people that are ready to scale. People
Yeah.
that are ready to take and invest into their business, invest into themselves, because we're living in a time now where you're running out of excuses.
Yeah, completely.
I think people are running out of excuses.
I think so.
And I think as expertise, like as an expertise in your particular domain,
Right.
you're running out of opportunities to make excuses for yourself.
Yeah.
So when
you can't wait on it.
you can't wait on it.
Nope.
So if you find people that are aligned, don't live in fear thinking that, oh man, I've got to compete with these people. Find ways to collaborate.
Yeah.
Find ways to combine your efforts,
Yeah.
because there's so much information, there's so much going on.
Yeah.
If you try to do this all on your own, you could, you could almost get drowned out.
Pretty much, and not only that if you don't try, you don't know.
Right.
So if, I've had different kinds of partnerships of some sort, and
Right.
if I see it that it's not working, I pull the plug. I'm like, we're good. It didn't do what we said that it would, and that's fine. No hate, no nothing. But if it does, what if it does?
Right.
And he does the things that we did talk, the things that we dreamed about, right? So not trying at all, overthinking. One of my talents is making decisions. I am very good at making decisions. It's a yes or a no, and I go for it. If I say yes, let's do it. If it's a no, we're good, moving on. But I don't just well, let me think about it, and then 2 months go by, well, I don't know. I don't do that. It's either a yes or a no. If it's a yes, let's go. How many times I poked you? I'm like, are we doing this? How are we doing that? Because I'm ready. If I said yes, it's a definite yes. Let's go. We're going to do what I said we're going to do. And that's it.
I think that's a superpower.
But you have to as a
Yeah.
business owner, though.
Yeah, you have to be very decisive.
The bills keep on coming every month. So if you don't make decisions, you're screwed. So I made the decision. Let's go. Let's do it. That is a superpower, and it's something that I'm very aware of, because people are like, you already made up your mind? I'm like, yeah. What else is there to think about?
Yeah.
If I don't try, I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go, but if I don't try, I really don't know, and I
Right.
never tried. So that it's a big part, too, of being creative and saying, well, let's say yes, because I feel like it's going to work. And then let's see what happens after that, and kind of navigate through it, hoping that it does. And if it doesn't, they will come to a point when if I start feeling like I'm it's not being even, or we're not really doing anything about it, then I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to waste any more time on this. It's okay. Let's move on. So, and that's that, because again, I want to, whatever we talked about, then I wanted to make sure that we're going to go in that direction. If
Yep.
not, it's just a waste of time. It's just another thing to just be busy that I don't want to be.
Right, and I think it's more about being productive than being busy.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's why strategic partnerships, collaborations should be productive more than just, hey, let's just do another thing.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot with the access to information and everything that's going on, our time has become more precious.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
so many things can give us scatter. Like, oh,
A squirrel.
so many things, every day you open up a tab,
Squirrel.
there's a new tool, there's a new app, there's a
Oh
new,
my God.
and I think focus on partnerships and strategic collaborations should
Yeah.
always focus, what is the focus? What is the objective here?
Yeah.
And then let's focus on that. And if it's not producing results,
Yeah.
we can just say, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
We gave it our best effort.
And that's okay,
That's
yeah.
okay. And it's the same thing with clients too,
Yep.
I think we have to always evaluate where we're at.
Yeah.
And hold each other
Yeah.
accountable. I think that's really important. That's
Yeah.
what I really appreciate here. Is just even with you just mentioning, hey, are we moving forward? Are we doing
Yeah,
this thing?
yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, she's serious. She's ready to go.
Well, and what I said, when we did the contract, it will evolve, and when it evolves, then we'll have another conversation then.
Right.
Like the one that we did, it's for now, what we're doing now, and for the next step, right? But in the near future, or in the future, when we see something shift, I'm like, oh, maybe we should go in this direction. We'll talk about it.
Right.
Or like maybe we should, revisit that and do it slightly different, and that's totally fine. The same thing with with businesses, like when they're they might outgrow the first strategy that you did, that you guys did, and they might be ready to do the next one. It doesn't mean that what you're doing is not working. It's just not working for the goal that you're trying to accomplish
Right.
then. So that needs to be changed.
And I think that's like really, that was really something that really made me, it really encouraged me.
Right.
Is knowing that you had a growth mindset.
Right.
Having that opportunity to work with someone that understands, like, hey, here's where we are at now, but here's where we're going.
Yeah.
And when we get there, we can have a different conversation.
Right.
We can amend some things. We're gonna see that some things are gonna be like, okay, we didn't anticipate this.
Yeah.
And some things might go beyond our expectations.
Yeah.
And having, like, I think my message to anybody that's out there just creating or building strategic collaborations and partnerships, have that same mindset.
Right.
Don't create so many guardrails that, you know, it makes it hard to be flexible.
Yeah.
You know, cater to each other's strengths and trust that.
Yeah.
Like, I trust your strength in
Yeah.
branding. I trust your strength as a marketing
Yeah.
expert, which is why I want to align
Yeah.
ourselves, right?
Yeah.
But then also give room for growth.
Always.
Because I think a lot of people come into partnerships, relationships, or anything with fear.
Yeah.
They've had this experience in the past. Like, how many times have you heard a client say, "Oh, I've worked with a marketing agency before, and it just didn't work"?
That's a red flag for me. by
To
the
me,
way.
right there, as soon as you say that,
I know it's something that that not the marketing agency most of the time. Sometimes, but most of the time it's the client that didn't take the time to understand what he was going to do, like a whole bunch of things. And I'm like,
there's a lot of grace. But what I've really come to realize is, like, every experience is going to be different.
Yeah.
And every business is different. Every model is different.
Yeah.
And we have to give every relationship its
Yeah.
opportunity to blossom.
yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
And I think having that growth mindset is what's going to make this partnership
Yeah,
and our future collaborations,
Yeah.
our client work, that much more powerful.
and that's why we high five.
Nice.